The Arbiter's chamber gleamed with cold, sterile light as James stood before the council of 7 alien species. Each representative sat in their designated pod, their forms ranging from the crystalline Vexthor to the gaseous Nephilim. At the center, High Arbiter Zektar, a towering reptilian with scales that shimmered like oil on water, held the evaluation tablet. Human James Parker, Zektar's voice resonated through the translation matrix. You have failed the galactic citizenship assessment. James didn't flinch. His dark eyes remained fixed on the High Arbiter, his military posture unwavering. Behind him, Lisa Chen, humanity's diplomatic liaison, felt her stomach drop. 3 years of preparation and Earth's first candidate had failed. On what grounds? James asked, his voice calm. The Nephilim representative, a swirling cloud of purple vapor, pulsed with what the translator interpreted as disdain. Question 47. When faced with a superior force, what is the appropriate response? You answered, negotiate from a position of strength. The correct answer is submit and request mediation. I stand by my answer, James said. Zektar's tail swished with irritation. Question 63. When your colony is threatened by an indigenous species, what action do you take? You selected defend the colony while seeking peaceful resolution. The proper response is evacuate and cede the territory. Lisa stepped forward. High Arbiter, perhaps there's been a cultural misunderstanding. Silence liaison. Zektar's eyes narrowed. Question 91. If you discover your species possesses technology that could destabilize galactic peace, what do you do? Human Parker answered, secure it and use it as leverage for equitable negotiations. The answer is clearly, destroy it and report to the council. James crossed his arms. So I'm a failure because I wouldn't roll over and die? The crystalline Vexthor chimed, their body refracting rainbow patterns. You fail because you cannot comprehend civilization, human. The galaxy has maintained peace for 12,000 cycles through submission to the greater order. Your species demonstrates the same barbaric tendencies that required our intervention to contain. Contain? Lisa's voice sharpened. You mean the blockade around our solar system? A necessary precaution, Zektar confirmed. Humanity exhibits dangerous levels of aggression, unpredictability, and refusal to accept authority. Your test results confirm this. Earth will remain quarantined for another 500 cycles. Minimum, James smiled then. Not a friendly expression, but something predatory that made even the battle-hardened Arbiter pause. Let me ask you something. High Arbiter, James said, his voice dropping to a deadly calm. How many species in this council have fought a world war? Zektar's scales rippled. War is the failure of civilization. No council species has engaged in such savagery for millennia. That's not what I asked. James took a step forward. The guards tensed, hands moving to weapons. I asked how many have fought one. Because humans. We fought two. 2 global conflicts that killed millions, and we came out the other side stronger, smarter, and more determined to never let it happen again. The Nephilim pulsed angrily. You boast of your brutality? I'm stating facts. James's eyes swept across the council. Question 47. You want us to submit to superior force? We spent 6 years fighting a superior force in our Second World War. We won. Question 63. Abandon our colonies? We've never abandoned our people. Not in the frozen Arctic, not in the depths of space, not ever. Lisa felt electricity in the air. This wasn't going according to any diplomatic protocol, but something in her chest swelled with pride. And question 91? James continued. You want us to destroy our own technology and trust you to keep us safe? We've seen what happens when one group controls all the power. We wrote that lesson in blood and tears. Never. Again. Zektar rose from his seat, his full 3-meter height towering over the human. You prove our point exactly, Parker. You are dangerous, unpredictable. You will what? James interrupted, and now his smile widened. You've had us blockaded for 30 years. Your ships surround our system. Your weapons are trained on Earth, and yet here I stand. Lisa stands. Humanity endures. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. You want to know what I learned from your test? The chamber fell silent. I learned that your civilization is built on cowardice dressed up as wisdom. You've created a galaxy where the strong prey on the weak, wrapped it in bureaucracy, and called it peace. You expect species to surrender their sovereignty, their dignity, their right to exist on equal terms, and you punish anyone who refuses to bow. James stepped closer to Zektar, close enough that the guards raised their weapons fully. But here's what you forgot to account for, James said, his voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. You failed to understand what makes humans dangerous. It's not our weapons. It's not our aggression. It's that we refuse to accept that survival requires submission. We will crush your species, Zektar hissed. James's expression never wavered. Then why haven't you? The question hung in the air like a blade. 30 years, James continued. 30 years you've had clear shots at Earth, overwhelming force, every tactical advantage. So I'll ask again, High Arbiter, if I'm such a failure, if my species is so dangerous that we need to be eliminated, then why are you still breathing? Zektar's eyes widened slightly, and in that moment Lisa saw it, fear. Not of James personally, but of what he represented, of a species that had clawed its way up from the mud, survived ice ages and plagues and its own worst impulses, and emerged ready to fight for every centimeter of existence. Because, James said softly, you ran the same calculation every tyrant eventually runs. You wondered what it would cost to destroy us, and somewhere in those calculations you realized that even if you won, even if you glassed every human world, we'd make you regret it. Some of us would survive. We always do. And we'd spend the next 1,000 years making sure you never forgot the price of trying to erase us. The silence stretched for long seconds. Finally, the Vex Thor chimed. What do you propose, human? James straightened. Simple. Let us join your galaxy as equals, not subjects. We'll follow the laws, contribute to the peace, even submit to reasonable regulations. But we won't bow. We won't surrender our right to defend ourselves. And we won't pretend that survival should require us to abandon everything that makes us human. Zektar slowly sat back down, his tail coiling around his seat. The Council will reconsider your application under alternative parameters. James nodded once. See that you do. As they left the chamber, Lisa grabbed James's arm. That was either the bravest or stupidest thing I've ever witnessed. James smiled. Genuine this time. Sometimes they're the same thing. But they needed to know, humanity doesn't fail tests. We changed the grading scale. Behind them, through the chamber doors, they could hear the Council erupting into argument. The blockade wouldn't lift tomorrow, but a crack had formed in the wall. And humans had always been good at finding the cracks.